Please subscribe before watching the movie. Welcome back to Movies Recap. Today, Dana is a photographer and her husband Charles is in a band together. They are a happy and adventurous couple with no intention of having a baby. They talked about it during their early days of marriage, but now Dana is having a change of heart. Charles is soon leaving for a 6-month-long tour with his band, so the couple decides to have a camping trip to celebrate their marriage anniversary. Then they plan to camp at the same place where Charles proposed to her 2 years. It is the day of their marriage anniversary. And in the morning Dana tells Charles that she once again had the same dream of the woods while they are being playful with each other. Dana suddenly rushes to the bathroom telling Charles that she needs to take a shower. But once she is in the bathroom, she opens all the taps, turns on the music, and begins throwing up. And while she is in the bathroom, Charles looks at her camera and notices the pictures of some children before they set off for the trip. Charles gives her an anniversary. Dana opens the box and finds a compass with a message engraved behind it, and before leaving the house, Charles pockets a gun just in case something happens in the woods. On their way, Charles tells Dana that she needs to make more friends. He is worried about her being all alone. Once he leaves for the tour, looking at the children's picture in the camera, she tells him that after his tour is done, they should talk about having a baby. But Charles wants them to enjoy their time together, traveling and having adventure. So he makes it clear that he has no desire to have a kid, changing the topic. Dana asks if he has made the boat reservation. Turns out he forgot to do so they make a quick stop in a store to make the boat reservation. While Charles enters the store, Dana is out clicking some pictures of the men in camouflage clothes loading things in their pickup van. She looks around and sees a missing persons notice pasted on the wall with a pregnant lady's photo. Soon after, Charles comes out of the store and once again, they're on the move. Eventually they get on a boat that is waiting for them, enjoying the scenery around them. The couple soon arrives at their destination. As they walk into the woods, Dana is feeling a little tired, but it does not stop her from enjoying the hike. As they walk, they do not notice an abandoned backpack lying on the ground. Charles starts pitching the tent on his own, and in no time he sets it up at night, lying beside each other. They're talking and fooling around, unable to fall asleep. Dana wakes up and decides to click some picture. As she's going through the pictures, she sees something strange in one of the photos from the afternoon. When she shows it to Charles, he simply tells her that it might just be her thumb and tells her to sleep. But Dana is not convinced at all. At the depth of the night, Dana's sleep is disrupted by the sound of gunfire. She wakes up and looks outside the tent, but since there is nothing unusual, she again goes back to sleep. The next morning, Charles disassembles the tent as Dana is away so she can. She keeps complaining about the people firing guns last night. So to avoid this group of noisy people, they move deeper into the woods. Finally, after finding a peaceful area, they set up the tent and start a fire. They start reminiscing about their first night in the woods. The mood is ruined when Dana says that he should just go back to being a paramedic. But it has always been his dream to go on a. So annoyed with her, Charles goes back to the tent. Meanwhile, Dana goes to explore the woods on her own. After walking for a while, she comes across an abandoned tent, left away to rot in the wilderness. Not seeing anyone, she peeks inside the tent and rummages through the bag. She finds a book about baby bumps, most likely, which belonged to a pregnant woman. She then takes the book with her and returns back to the tent. At night, Dana and Charles wake up to the sound of gunfire and noises from the four-wheelers. When Charles looks through the binoculars, he confirms that around 10 people are having a campfire 200 yards away from them. Those men are drowning in booze and firing in the sky. Just when a four-wheeler passes by their tent, Charles has had enough, so he pulls out the gun and gets ready to head out. Dana was unaware of the fact that Charles had a gun with him, so she scolds him for bringing the gun. Just then, they're startled by some strange noise. Charles looks through his binoculars to find out the source of the noise, but he couldn't find it. He then looks at those men and sees them alert and ready with their guns. The noise intensifies, and from the other side comes the sound of firing and scream. Charles covers Dana's mouth to stop her from screaming, handing Dana his gun. Charles goes out of the tent to help the needy one, despite Dana trying to stop him. Now that Dana is left all alone, the unknown creature lurks outside the tent. Subsequently, Charles returns back with an injured man. Since the man was groaning too much, Charles knocks him out and uses his paramedical skills to stop the man's bleeding while working on his chest wound. They find a claw-like fingernail of some creature. Seeing that the man's condition is getting serious, Dana suggests that they go get the four-wheeler and bring some help back. At that point, that strange screech continues just above their tent as the man gains consciousness. Charles introduces himself and Dana to him and asks for his name. The man replies that his name is Sean Ramsey. Charles gives him a painkiller, but Sean is reluctant to take it. When Dana mentions that her husband is a paramedic, he finally takes the. Charles then asks him what had happened earlier, and that's when Sean slowly starts telling a story. A week ago, Sean's brother had come to the woods with his friends for hunting, but their expected stay had extended from days to weeks. After 2 weeks, his brother was found stumbling down the town street. There were signs that he had been attacked by something and that made him so scared that he was unable to speak, but he never made it back home. Therefore, Sean has come to the woods along with his boys to avenge his. When asked about what has happened to his brother, he distracts the couple and spits the pills into a bottle. Charles suggests that they wait until sunrise to get out for help, but Dana wants to make a run for it immediately. Listening to their plan, Sean asks them to shoot him and end the pain once and for all while they are waiting idly in the dark. Not only does the squall return, the silhouette of something seems to be lingering outside the tent as he gets in the position with the gun in his hands. Charles thinks it is. He fires a bullet and shortly a long, sharp-nailed hand tears their tent. They're terrified to see such a mark left behind. Sean keeps on rambling that they won't make it till the next morning. Outside in the dark, the same sharp, nailed hand is caressing the tree trunk. The three of them keep their guard up the whole night. Sean tells them that the creature is just messing with them like a cat, playing with a. Charles plans to use the four-wheeler in the morning, but Sean points out that before they reach the vehicle, that thing is going to tear them in half. The dark of the night is finally broken by the rising sun. When Sean expresses his gratitude toward Dana, she tells him that he should thank Charles instead for not leaving him to die. He asks Dana about their relationship and confesses that she reminds him of his ex-wife. And suddenly a shrieking sound is heard that wakes Charles up. He looks through the binoculars and sees a man crawling. When Sean mentions that the man is his friend Howard, Charles gets ready to jump out of the tent to save him, but Dana holds him back. Just then, a head peeks through the tree branches. Dana is now convinced that the creature is setting traps for them before long. Howard is dragged back and thrown into their tent. And soon the creature returns and again, drags Howard's body, realizing that Sean knows something about the creature. Dana asks him what he knows about it. She asks him why it hasn't attacked them, even when it had plenty of opportunities. Initially, Sean avoids her eyes, but finally he tells her what he has heard about it. When the village suffered from the drought, the warriors kidnapped a beautiful teenage girl from the rival village. They tied her to a wooden frame and stuck it in a bear. The whole point of this cruel sacrifice was to soak the earth with as much blood as possible. However, this girl was pregnant and before she died, she gave birth to a baby. From that day onward, misfortune befalls the village. A few years later, some pregnant women started disappearing. Legends have it that the girl's spirit still lives in the woods to the present. Listening to the tale, Dana is visibly in distress now. They have no other option but to confine themselves in that small tent. Moments later, Sean finds Dana's book and whispers something to her with the excuse of asking her to scratch his back. He calls her closer, but realizing that he has other intentions, Dana ignores his request. She tells him to mind his own business, and even Charles thinks that Sean is hitting on his wife. As he compliments Dana, he sneakily gets his hands on the gun lying by her. But it's too late when they notice it. During the tussle, the gun is accidentally fired and the bullet hits Charles's leg. Then, in a state of panic, Sean orders Dana to lead the way, but she does not understand how she can possibly do that. Finally, Sean tells the truth about why the creatures are not attacking them. It is because they know that she is. Charles does not believe him, but seeing that Dana is not refusing it, he asks her if she is pregnant. The truth that she has been hiding from her husband is out in the open now. Dana agrees to Sean's order, but she tells him that Charles will come with him when he threatens to shoot Charles. Dana has no other choice than to comply with him, but even in the hour of despair, she does not lose hope and scans her vicinity. Dana grabs the same fingernail that they have dug out from his chest and attacks him in the face. Dana manages to retrieve the gun and tie Sean to the tree in order to lure the creature. When she returns back, Charles asks her why she had hidden her pregnancy from him. Dana tells him that since he was so hell-bent on not having a child, she didn't have the heart to break the news to him, but now she let him know that she has decided to keep the baby. Charles is in no condition to stand up properly, let alone run with her, so he tells Dana that she can make a run to a four-wheeler while the creature feasts on. But when they check on him, Sean has already escaped. In a sense, Charles feels relieved that they are not the reason for whatever fatal awaits Sean. Meanwhile, Sean is seen using Howard's body as cover to hide from the creature. Since they have no choice, Dana decides to take the lead. She slowly comes out of the tent with the gun pointing in the direction of the hiding creature. She then shouts at the top of her lungs for it to show. Seeing the creature reveal itself, she lowers her hands, eventually letting the gun drop. At this point, the creature can be called a forest demon. Due to its appearance, the demon slowly extends its hands toward Dana's belly. Her motherly instincts kick in, and without getting scared of it, she guides its hands to let it touch her stomach. Somehow the demon seems to feel at peace once it touches her stomach, but just then Charles shoots it, causing it to plop down on the. Charles asks her to get to the four-wheeler, and as she runs to get it, Dana sees the site littered with dead bodies. She gets on the vehicle, but since it's stuck in the mud, she is unable to move it. Meanwhile, the death of one forest demon brings a bunch of its kind to reveal themselves from hiding as other demons surround. Charles, one demon with a ring in its hand, appears in front of. With a cry for help from Charles, she runs back to the tent. As soon as she enters the tent, the demons leave them alone. But something strange happens with Dana's belly. It starts enlarging in front of their eyes. Seeing this, she tells them that they need to get out of there immediately. Charles notices Dana is starting to transform, so to comfort her, Charles tells her that he will figure out a way to become a good dad. Just then Sean comes with a gun in his hand. He tells Dana to be a shield and lead the way. But when Dana sees the ring on his finger, finally everything makes sense to her. Sean is not here in search of his brother, but instead for his wife. Dana then asks him what had happened to her now that there is no point in hiding the truth. Sean tells her that his wife started hearing voices in her head, something calling her into the woods, and that is how they ended up here. Sean is sure that Dana also has heard the voice calling her to the woods. He tells them that it is not them who picked the spot, but it's the other way around, holding them at gunpoint. He orders her to tie Charles up. At that moment, Dana sees a forest demon approaching them. She knows that the demons won't do anything to her, so she tries to buy as much time as she can, and suddenly, just the way she planned, Sean is attacked by the demon and drag. Grabbing this opportunity, Dana brings Charles up to the vehicle, but before they could move it, she falls to her knees. They're now surrounded by a group of demons, and Sean is also brought there using Dana as a shield. Sean asks the group for his daughter. Eventually, a little forest demon comes in front of him. He tries communicating with her by showing her the picture of him and his ex-wife. Just then Dana kicks him to free herself, and as a result, he hits his head on a sharp tree branch. Even in his last breath, he tries talking with his daughter, but now they do not speak the same language. Slowly, Dana is transforming into a demon herself, and with a signal from the other demon, she gets closer to Charles as she stretches out her hands to his head. She has flashbacks of important moments in her. "I love you" becomes the last word from Charles as she twists his head. Then she goes into labor, and soon a baby's cry has resounded in the woods as time goes by. One sunny day, a girl comes into the woods and finds Dana's camera. When she goes through the photos, the same strange noises are heard. As the movie ends, the girl is seen standing in front of the abandoned tent, holding the camera in her hands. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.